Well, hey guys, welcome back to Detroit Garage. On this episode, we're going to work on fan belts. Got to change up the fan on this engine, put a bigger fan on, and then run the belts for that. I'll show you what I'm talking about here. The fan belt, normally on a Detroit 53 series, you have pulleys on here, and the pulleys run your water pump. That pulley and run your alternator. But on the Deere, they ran a single belt system that ran the fan and the water pump all in one. And then a separate belt ran off of here up to the alternator or the generator, whatever they had in the day. I've changed this engine up a little bit, and I added a oil cooler to it. And it has a different outlet. The position is slightly different than the Deere setup they had. The Deere Detroit had a smaller inlet, and it was in a slightly different position. So you'll notice when I put this belt on that the hoses rub on the belt. All right, so that we can't have that. You see that? It's just rubbing right into that belt. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through my horde of idler wheels and put an idler wheel here and bring that up there like that, sort of. And that'll work perfect. All right, guys, so we've got the bracket made up for the idler wheel. And I tapped a metric hole in there, 12 mil for the idler wheel. So I think this should work really nice. So now I got to get a belt for this. Yeah, I think that should work pretty nice. The idler wheel's installed, and I made up a belt to get the right length and everything. I did go down to the part shop and get it sized up, but they gave me a belt that's a bit too wide. And of course it doesn't sit into the V-belt groove very well. And here it is here. New guy at the parts department. I don't think he's ever seen a V-belt before, but so I'll take it back and get a narrower belt. And yeah, that's perfect. So that's how I sized up a new belt. Basically take two old belts, drill some holes through them, and then put some binder twine on it. And you can set yourself up a pretty sweet belt with very little guessing. Well, I finished the fan adapter. Yeah, it works pretty sweet. So we'll run this old 353 fan for a while, see what I think. It's a push fan, so it blows the air out there, as did the old Alice Chalmers fan. Alice's fan was kind of up here, so there's quite a bit of distance between here and the fan, but given the extra blades, this is a 6-blade versus a 5-blade off Alice. I think that should be enough to blow enough air through this. Anyway, if it doesn't work, I'll go to a 16-inch. If it doesn't work, I'll resort to using a fan, electric fan. But yeah, very happy with that. Now it's on to making the belt, making this alternator work. So getting that fit so it you can adjust it and it works. Yeah, should be a small challenge for that. Not sure exactly how we're going to do that, but all right, I went back to the parts store and got the correct size belt. It's a little narrower than the previous belt I tested. So let's pull off that nasty belt and put the new one on, see how it fits. I like it. All right, guys, got the alternator in. I used the old Buddha strap for tensioning the alternator and then adjusted it for the Detroit, made a mount, and then threaded it. You can see it there. So that's the alternator in. The belt's pretty much lined up, so I'm going to go down and get a belt for it now. And not much left. Almost ready for a test fire here. So what I'm going to do now is hook up the electrics and temporarily put the battery here. And I have to put the flywheel back on, but once the flywheel's back on, it should be really easy because the alternator is in the same spot as the Buddha was. So this should be a simple task, and it is. All I've got to do is hook up the one wire, and that's it. So that's the dyno sensor. I'll pull that off, put it on the dyno, and then this will thread in its place. So I have temperature. The batteries, there's not enough room in here to put the battery anymore, so I'm going to relocate the battery on the counterweight up here somewhere. But for now, I'm just going to put it down on the floorboard to start the engine. And then after that, it's throttle, shut off, and that's it. Do the body work. Of course, we've got to take that flywheel in and to my friend's place and turn it. But I have to measure all that up first before I do that. All right, guys, we've got the new belt on, and it's pretty nice. All in all, everything clears, and this should be a success. So I'm calling that good and moving on to the next thing, which is to start the engine. So I got to pull the Detroit out, put the flywheel back on, and then I'll install it back in without the transmission, and then put oil in it, hook up all the lines and everything, put coolant in it, and give it a start. Well, there you go, guys. That's the V-belts all finished, the idler wheel and the adapter for the fan, alternators hooked up. Yeah, now take the engine out, pull the transmission, put the flywheel back on, and start it up. Happy times, guys. Thanks for checking in, and we'll catch you on the next video. Take care.